Hello there, everybody. Let me just make sure the audio is pretty good. Should be all good. I have a new microphone, so hopefully it's the sound's a little bit better than usual. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Lakesh. Trome, I hope I'm saying your names right. Hi, welcome to the live stream. We're going to be going over the FOMC Meeting Minutes at 7. Is where we get the release of those FOMC meeting minutes. We're going to see if the Fed have talked about pausing in those minutes. Going to see the reasoning behind their recent hike. And then we're going to see what could potentially happen. Now, there's a little bit of debate what's going to happen in the future, obviously, because we're getting a bit of mixed messaging out of the Federal Reserve at the moment. Evening, Denise. Hi, Master FX. Hi, Carrie. Hope you were all good. Yeah, but a bit of mixed messaging out of the Fed recently. Powell on last Friday said he was really worried about hiking interest rates further due to the potential pressure it could put on the banking sector. We've obviously had some data out today as well with some Fed speakers. So there's some headlines here. So Fed's wallet decision to hike or not in June will depend on data. So yeah, the data's kind of suggesting that there may be another swing for another hike. So hi, Vincent. It'll be interesting to see what the Federal Reserve do next. But yeah, we'll talk about a few charts as well. Let me know what charts you're trading as well. I like this to be a little bit interactive. So yeah, add any comments you want to add in, add any questions you want to add in. When they get released, I'm going to look for some headlines, going to look for anything that kind of sticks out that we can kind of discuss. We're going to see how the market reacts to anything as well. I did bail out of a $-yen long today, which I'll show you right now. Actually, let me go to the 5-minute time frame. So you're gonna laugh at me really, because this is where I got in down through here. It was actually on an hourly time frame. Sorry, got in through here. Price was pulling back this morning, and the reason why I got out is because I was looking at the volatility, and I was looking to see if yen would actually start to strengthen. I'm starting to look for some potential yen longs, but I think I'm a little bit too early to the party just yet. And I ended up closing my long position out for a very small profit just because I was looking around thinking maybe it wasn't the right thing to do. And that's just sometimes these things happen. And then price has rallied over 80 pips. So, it's just one of those things, unfortunately for me. Obviously, we had that long previously, which turned out really well. And I was, expecting price to go long here on $-yen because we're trading above the 137 spot 50 handle. And I was looking for price to come up into the 142. So that was what I was expecting. Didn't quite follow my plan, to be honest. But we'll see what happens. I was a little bit tentative because of the data that we've got out this week, to be honest. The US debt ceiling negotiations, I thought maybe that would cause some yen strength because of the uncertainty surrounding it. Sorry. And then I expected, the likes of sort of the market to basically move into a bit of a risk-off environment, and that really hasn't happened. So having to adapt here, having to see what's going on. The only kind of good positions I've put myself into this week, I've been looking for some VIX longs, which are doing pretty well at the moment. So I can have a little look at them in a little bit. Sorry, guys. Right, so we've got people in silver. Can I have a look at gold, please? Yeah, I can take a look at gold. Denise, I'm in pound Aussie since last night. I set a stop at break even. Lovely. I really like pound Aussie long at the moment, actually. It's a really good market to look at. Hi, Akal. Hope you're well. So let's go take a look at gold, actually. Let's jump into gold first. Right back in that level of interest now, aren't we? We're in that 1950 zone. I still like the idea of being a buyer of gold, to be honest. Obviously, we talked about some seasonal plays on this as well, where typically we start to bottom out around this time of the year and looking to potentially continue the seasonal pattern. Let me just bring in the seasonal patterns, actually, while we're talking about it. Sorry, my new microphone blocks my keyboard. So let me see if I can just move it back a little bit. Let me know if the sound's still okay while I move that microphone back a little bit, or is it a little bit too quiet? I'm Adiba. Hope you're well. From Kenya. Wow. Thank you for joining me. Vincent, I'm short Aussie US dollar. Yeah, loved Aussie shorts. I was short last week. If you remember in my last live stream, I was short last week. Really liked Aussie shorts, and they continue to perform pretty well. Let me gold here. Let's select some metals. Again, this is a bit of just a live stream, guys. Just keep in touch, keep in base. I'm going to start doing 2 a week. Going to set them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about with regards to our seasonal data. And what we did was, if May was negative, what did it tell us? And when it calculated, it told us that there's a potential for gold to start bottoming out around about the 1st of June. It says here the turning point really is going to be around June 30th. So maybe we're going to see some kind of consolidation before we see a continuation move to the upside there for gold prices. But you can see here on gold here, over the 20 years, past 20 years on average, we usually start to bottom out around about the middle to end of June before seeing a kind of move to the upside. But May has been negative, and we can separate that data out and shows us where the potential turning point is. So is gold about to turn just yet? Maybe not. Maybe we're still going to see a little bit more downside to gold before we get anything else, before we get that move, sorry. So we're around about this 1950 handle though, which is a nice place to start looking for those gold longs, because, you know, arguably we're at an area where there was that resistance and support, and we're back in that area now. So again, I kind of looked at this week thinking that we were actually going to get a lot of sort of risk off in the markets because of the situation fundamentally, but that hasn't really shone through yet. If it will at all, I don't know whether it will or not, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, gold will be an interesting one to watch. I'd like to see that actually after sort of the data gets released. Dollar yen looking good. Silver was on. I don't have the silver chart open at the moment, but silver could be a good alternative to look at. Hi, Mohammed from Canada. Wow, thank you for joining me. Denise, I'm watching to go long on gold until the debt ceiling is settled. Yeah, I was expecting risk off this week as well. Yeah, I was definitely expecting a bit of risk off. Like I said, I am long VIX at the moment, volatility index, long multiples on this, looking to see if we can get multiple different targets on this. I just think that the volatility would increase. Again, that kind of goes into my kind of concept of, the yen and seeing potential yen strength, because I was, if we get the VIX on the move to the upside, volatility doesn't necessarily mean risk off, it just means there's extra volatility in the markets. But, we'll see what happens. It's 7 o'clock now. The FOMC Meeting Minutes should be getting released. Let's just go to a lower time frame on dollar yen and just watch the reaction here. Let me know if you've got any questions as well, guys. Hi, Calvin. Let me know what charts you're trading. I do want to see if I can go through some of the meeting minutes headlines. I'm just watching the other screens to see if there's anything coming through. It might take a few minutes for the headlines to drop through. Obviously, when we're looking at these events from a retail trading point of view, we don't have the sort of second by second data unless we pay for sort of a Bloomberg terminal. So unfortunately, I don't have one of those. Right, we'll see what happens then. Dollar yen looking to be a little bit range bound here at the moment. Are we going to see that dollar start to weaken? Is it going to continue with that strength? How is the market going to react? Now, looking at the dollar index as well this week, we talked about the break above the 103s last week. This is where we were talking about the Aussie US dollar short as well, because we were expecting the dollar to continue to the upside. And one thing I did say we should watch out for is that pullback into the 103 levels again. And I was looking to see if price would start to break back to the upside. So from a technical point of view, that was something that we were watching. It's just how would the market take things fundamentally. Right, okay, so I'm starting to get a few headlines come through now. So I will just read those out as I get them. Fed minutes. Officials generally agreed that the extent of further hikes are less certain. Okay. So that doesn't really give us a lot, does it? Participants generally agreed that the extent to which further hikes may be appropriate was less certain. So what does that mean? Basically, they're going to wait for the data, aren't they? They're going to wait for the data. Right. Hi, Bongo. Hi, Daniel. You're welcome, Daniel. We have a good group of traders in here, actually. There's some long-term subscribers in here. So really appreciate you all coming. If you're new to the stream, new to Blueberry Markets YouTube as well, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And I really appreciate it. It allows me to bring you more content like this as well. But I'm going to wait for some more headlines to drop through here. We're going to see. We didn't really get much of a reaction. Let's go to dollar yen. Dollar yen's still kind of ranging between sort of the 139.33s, 139 spot 20s at the moment. We'll see if that dollar can continue to the upside, and whether it will embarrass me from not holding that dollar yen long that I had. But yeah, I mean, look at the technicals here. It looks like the next stop for dollar yen is that 142 handle. The one thing that I do want to just bring up about yen is there is a strong correlation for the month of June for some really strong seasonals as well. So I do just want to highlight that on the Japanese yen, where we do get usually at the end of May. I just want to bring this on actually, just so you can see this as well. You can see here from June the 1st, there is almost a bottom in the market on yen, and there could be an opportunity to be a buyer of that market. I mean, it's the most sort of interesting area seems to be around about July 26th to August 10th, just because that's where we usually see the sort of large rally. But yen suggesting that June the 1st is near a bottom makes me think that where could we see sort of dollar yen prices, and where could we see price move sort of after that? So maybe 142 is going to be the level that we reach before seeing that sort of decline coming into the markets on dollar yen. Guys, let me know if you can hear me. Okay, I can. This is a new mic, so I'm just working with it. It seems like no one's complaining about the noise, so generally that's a good thing. Where can you see the headlines? You can see the headlines on all types of different kind of places. I like a website called Forex Live. There's some great guys up from over there. So if you actually, I'll just put it in the chat. So it's Forex Live. If you're watching on YouTube, there should be a link to the website. They do some really good news analysis and stuff like that. So, okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Gold is pulling back, says Denise. Let's go and have a little look at gold. Yeah, I mean, we're just hovering around this 1950 area. You can see I've just kind of drawn in a little bit of a channel here that I had drawn in from the other day. I was just looking to see how price was forming here because I was very tempted into a long position around there. But I didn't take it, and it looks like it was a good idea not to take it in the end, although what I was doing was looking at that range play in there. So, you know, again, this comes down to your sort of preference in trading, but if you can understand sort of where the market is at the moment, you can kind of say to yourself, well, you know, we're at a key level of support here. Price is trading between two areas. You know, maybe I can take like a range play in there. But I ended up not taking it in the end, and you know I would have profited out of that one, but we'll have to wait and see if we get another bounce. But really speaking, I want to try and catch the bigger move on gold because I do think there's a bigger move that's going to be in play. It's just sort of when and where would that happen? You know, I like the 1950 area, but let's say the dollar continues to get stronger because of the data that's coming out, the news that's coming out. And the dollar maybe gets stronger. It drives gold prices through the long-term trend line support. We have to ask ourselves the question, you know, where's the next place that price could come into? So we've got these sort of lows down through here, which could be interesting for us. Where if we just kind of grab a box tool, kind of open that out through here, drop in a little line. Let's just change the properties. Again, when I do this, I just like to look at whole numbers really. So probably go with the 1890 handle there. We could probably go to the 1891. That's kind of in between. But if I just pop in the 1890 handle there, if I just drop in the label as well, just so you can all see that. You know, this would be an interesting zone to look at. And the reason why I say that is because obviously price has been driving aggressively to the upside here. We've then paused, pulled back towards that 1890 handle before seeing another aggressive move higher. So guys, let me know if you can see the charts okay. Let me just change the view. Do you prefer the view that you've got here, or do you prefer this view? So we'll call this view 2. Do you prefer view 2 or did you prefer the old view? Obviously, I want to give you the sort of best possible sort of opportunity to watch these clearly. So, sorry as well, you might hear some noise. I've got the window open. It's actually hot in the UK, if you can believe it or not. 2 for 2. 2's the best. Okay, view 2. Cool. Okay. See it a bit more clearly, I guess. Well, thanks for letting me know. Right, okay. Do you think silver is dollar dependent? I'd say yes. There's a way you can kind of look at your correlations, and you can see if what you're looking at is correlated at the moment. But I would say the silver is dollar dependent. Yeah, I would say that. 95 Fahrenheit here in Arizona. Is that hot? I guess that's hot. I work in degrees because I'm British, so you know we like to be 35 degrees. Wow. Okay, that's hot. What do you think about GJ? I quite like GJ. That's pound yen for anybody that's asking. I actually was going to potentially short pound yen today, but what put me off was this concern. Again, I was kind of looking at the yen and looking at whether the yen was getting stronger or not in this kind of market condition, and we weren't really seeing signs of it, unfortunately. So, you know, I was kind of looking at that going, you know, is it right time to trade that? And again, kind of if we look at it, we're in that zone, aren't we, where there's not a lot going on. There's just a lot of consolidation. Now, that's one of two things. It's either buyers and sellers are not agreeing at the moment, so or they're agreeing with the price at the moment, so we're just starting to see them sort of level out, or it's kind of like an accumulation of orders sitting around this area. So it'll be interesting to see where price breaks. I was looking for some downside, but we did get some UK data today where CPI fell to 8.7%, and although inflation's fallen in the UK, we've got the core inflation, which is remaining fairly sticky at the moment. We've got the fact that actually missed the Bank of England's estimates. The Bank of England's estimates, I think, were about 8.1% or 8.4%, I think it was. So it came in above their estimations as well. So maybe the Bank of England are going to have to continue to hike interest rates. And if they do, there is possibly an opportunity there to see pound get a little bit stronger, maybe in the near future, because there may be that sort of risk of a rate hike to come. Again, it's kind of the situation now where are the markets seeing rate hikes as a good thing now, or are they seeing it as a bad thing? Yeah, prices are still going up. Yeah, in the UK, I think it was food prices are still going up. I can't remember. I didn't look at the full report. I'll have to look at the full report there. So in the short term, yeah, I'd say it's at a point where I wouldn't necessarily say up. We're in this sideways movement. If anything, I'd say it's going to remain in this sideways movement for a little bit until one gives way, essentially. But we can go take a look at cable. Cable as well is an interesting market. We're coming down into the 23.50 support. So, we're coming into that area now. So maybe we'll get a sort of short-term bounce in and around this area, maybe. Or we've got the option to see will price trade through and head down towards the 122 handle, the 1.22s. So that'll be really interesting to watch out for. Again, the way I kind of look at these is, when price, you kind of have your fundamental bias, right? But then price has got to react to areas of supply and demand, or that's the way I see it. So what I would look for is those key areas. I'll point them out, those key zones. And then when price gets them, it's about how does price actually react? What are the buyers and sellers doing? And, we can argue that selling pressure is starting to sort of slow down here, because if you notice with the lower lows, right? So we get a big move down. If you notice, the lower lows and lower highs are starting to sort of slow, okay? So they're not getting as sort of deep on their breakouts to the downside. So that could be a sign that momentum's starting to slow here, and that we could start to see maybe a move back higher. You've got this almost kind of channel that price is working into at the moment. So maybe you'll see a sort of reaction here back into the 1.2438. We might get another reaction there, and then we'll see if we break higher or lower at that point. But we're coming into a bit of a range bound sort of territory down at this supporting zone at the minute. VR, so nice to finally get to see the face. Oh, I'm sure it could have been a better one. But no, nice to meet you all as well, guys. I know I've been just a voice for so long. And I really appreciate all the support that we've had on the channel. We've grown from sort of 0 to nearly 9,000 subscribers over a sort of a good period of time. And it's nice, nice growth and organic growth. And I hope you enjoy all the content. If you have any content ideas, let me know. We're going to start, like I said, we're going to start doing 2 webinars a week. I'm going to do another webinar tomorrow. And I'm actually going to do that on the currency strength meter. So that's going to be a big one. I'm going to show you how to build your own currency strength meter tomorrow. But we're going to do that. So I'm going to do sort of like a market update with you once a week. And then do an educational segment as well. So the way I might do it, I might kind of interchange them in terms of 1 week on the Tuesday, I'll do an education, and then on the Thursday, we'll do sort of a market update, or vice versa. I'll kind of swap them around a little bit. But yeah, going to start doing 2 live streams a week. I've been watching since the summer of 2021. Wow. I like the newer content. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Denise. We're working hard to try and change it up. Hi, Ali. Webinars would be great. Yeah, cool. I like live stuff as well, personally. It gives me a chance to actually chat to you and see who's about and who likes the streams. If you can't watch it tomorrow, that's absolutely fine. It gets uploaded onto YouTube as a video straight after. I'm sure I'll sort of write up a bit of a blog post for it as well, maybe, and send it out on our socials. So if you signed up to the socials, you won't miss it. The dates of the webinar, they'll be every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm going to be working on what times to do those. It'll probably be sort of late afternoons, maybe, or early mornings. We're going to try and figure out which works best. Probably more late towards the evenings might work a little bit better. Yeah, I know you like the strength meter, Vincent. So I'll show you how to build your own. Right, let's go and have a little more, see if there's any more headlines. I haven't actually looked. Just been chatting. You can see I like live streams because we just get to chat. Okay, I haven't really seen much else from it. Dollar yen still trading above the 137 spot 50 handle. Starting to see a little bit of a pullback now. If we look at the hourly time frame, we can see we're starting to get that little bit of a pullback there. So maybe we'll see how this one performs. We've got all this consolidation in there, and I am quite a big follower of volume profile stuff. I haven't got anything to show you volume profile wise, but I know for a fact there'll be like a very high volume level running through here. So, if price comes into this range and we start seeing a bit of buying sort of going on through here, then, what traders could be looking to get long around this point essentially. So, I'll be watching around that area to see what happens and see if we can get a move higher, because, if price is going to move higher on dollar yen, I don't want to miss out on the move up to 142. This high here back in November of 2022 was a really important high. So I don't really want to miss out on that move, especially although I like the idea of yen getting stronger in June. It did say that it was going to more peak in July, didn't it? July 1st. So maybe we've got a couple more months of growth here. Quite like the idea of seeing this area fill in here. You can see that's going to be a very low volume area. And the market likes to go and sort of fill these areas. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we were, July 1st up at the 145 spot 50. Obviously, that depends on how the market takes things. And, thinking that far ahead as a trader can be a little bit daunting. But, if we do get to that 145 spot 50, that could be the point where we start seeing that selling pressure coming back in once again. So, okay, take a look at Aussie as well. Vincent talked about Aussie shorts. We were talking about Aussie shorts. Last week, I was short at this 0 spot 66.70 handle. I was short twice, actually, from this area in here. I actually closed out after a rally down because we got very close to the target zone, which was this zone through here. So I ended up closing out here. I actually tried to get short again, but price didn't pull back. So I drew this box in here. This was the area I was looking to get short. Price just didn't pull back. We just had a little bit of a short-term short pullback in here, and price continued lower. So for me, I didn't manage to get on a secondary move to the downside there, unfortunately. But Aussie US dollar breaking lower. Again, seasonally, Aussie is weak. And it's proven to, we were talking about this up at 0 spot 68. So, again, the market in a range, it came to the high of the range, short it. That's what the market is telling us at that point. And, price has come down. into the range low. So we'll see how the market reacts. You know, if the dollar's going to continue to get stronger, can we see Aussie US dollar down at the 0 spot 63? I've got 63875 there. That doesn't particularly make sense to me. Let me change that up. I think that's meant to be 64, to be honest, if I was to round that up. 75, 53, 75 or 64s. I'm going to go with the 64s there. Again, just like the sort of whole numbers just to work with. And then the beauty about using rectangles, you can just add a zone around it. Like so. So maybe the 0 spot 64, around that type of area, is going to be the area that we find ourselves in on Aussie US dollar. So maybe Aussie yen could be one to watch in the near future. I haven't got Aussie yen open, I don't think. So let's break this chart down together. I still haven't seen any more headlines out of the Fed meeting minutes, so they must have been very lackluster. They must have been very or we must have just seen. Hang on one sec. Sorry, someone's caught my eye. 1 second. Right. Okay. There's a few more things. Sorry. Okay. So it's mixed messages, isn't it? Participants generally agree that the extent to the further hikes may be appropriate was less certain, and then in the next breath, some participants said additional hikes would likely be needed. Some stressed that it was crucial that policy not signal likelihood of cuts late this year of a rule out further hikes. Now, Federal Chairman Powell has already said cuts this year are off the table. Cuts this year definitely off the table. So I don't really see cuts this year. Stocks coming down. Yeah, stocks are having a bad time. I was looking at Berkshire Hathaway the other day, and you know, Berkshire Hathaway actually has a really strong seasonal play to go short this time of year, and you can see it's down nearly 955 points there. Same with McDonald's. We usually get a decent seasonal play as well. Yeah, let's FTSE's down quite aggressively. We're down. It's that 1,453 points there. Big moves going in. That's why I'm sort of long. Let's look at the S&P 500 because it's come up into that level of interest again. We pointed this out, 4,200 level, around that area. Like the opportunity, key high. Price is now coming down here on the S&P. Be interesting to see if this can continue as well. I don't think the move is done essentially on the S&P. You know, I liked the 35-24 area, but you know, maybe we can get another move down, and you know, if we get another move down back into this sort of zone, you know, this could be an area where buyers step back in again. We start seeing a move back, because we know by now the move to all-time highs will probably happen. It's just when or how it happens, you know. So I think there's a little bit more downside to come in stocks, to be honest, before we see any kind of continuation to the upside. And that kind of goes into my sentiment of sort of gold long, dollar yen short, you know, things like that, really. But we'll have to wait and see. Sorry, I was going to just break down Aussie yen. Aussie yen could be one to watch just because, you know, Aussie's getting weaker. Yen's not particularly getting stronger yet, but, you know, we're at these weekly highs in here. So it just could be one just to keep our eyes on going into the near future. Maybe we'll check this out in another live stream and we'll break it down, and we'll see what's happening from that point of view, because, you know, got a nice double top there. One of my favorite patterns. Price could pull back into this sort of 91.50 area. Could see a continuation. So I'll break this down in another webinar soon. Like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be going over the currency strength meter. I will put the stream out for that in the morning. So yeah, I will be doing that. I'm probably going to leave it there, guys, because this we haven't really seen much out of the meeting minutes as I thought, to be honest. But it's been great to chat to you. Great to go over some charts of interest. Great to go over some of the charts that you're interested in as well. So, yeah, we'll have a market catch up every week, and we'll get these going. But any questions before I leave it there, guys? Let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like. That would be great. Like I said, if you're new here as well, please subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us grow. Thank you, Denise. Thanks for your comments and questions as well. Really helpful to the stream. Thank you. Thank you, Ali. I'm using MT5 with Blueberry Markets. Obviously, Blueberry Markets. Thank you, Balance. Thanks for watching the stream. Hi, Ishola. Yeah, it does seem to be a little bit quiet, doesn't it? Dollar seems to be a little bit quiet after that move. Maybe we're waiting for some further developments. Maybe the market is actually just holding on to the US debt ceiling negotiations, and the FOMC meeting minutes might just be brushed to the side because of that. So that's something we have to consider as well. But yeah, I'll be jumping on a live stream tomorrow, guys. I'll put up the stuff for that tomorrow. I hope you really enjoyed this stream. Like I said, if you could leave it a like, that would be brilliant. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening as well. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Daniel. Sharing, what do you think about oil? How would the debt news affect it? Don't have time to go over that right now, but if that stays as a comment, I will answer you on the comment section on the video. Let me know if it doesn't stay as a comment, I will cover that in another webinar. Cheers, guys. Right, I'm going to leave you there. Yeah, I agree, Denise. I think debt ceiling is definitely more an immediate concern. Thanks, Codit. Thanks for joining me again. And yeah, guys, right, I'll catch you later. Otherwise, I'm never going to leave. Right, guys. See you later. Have a great evening.